By the age of 60, half of us have it. By 85, it's 90%. An enlarged prostate feels like an inevitable curse of aging. But what if the worst parts, the constant trips to the bathroom, the weak stream, the frustrating feeling of never being empty, aren't a curse? What if they're a choice? A choice fueled by specific daily habits. One habit in particular acts like a silent fertilizer for your prostate, encouraging it to grow day after day, and millions of us do it without a second thought. In this video, we are exposing the 10 habits secretly wrecking your prostate, and I guarantee the number one habit is not what you think. We're going to count them down from 10 to 1, so stick with me to the very end to discover the habit that could be silently sabotaging your health. Let's begin. Habit number 10, the caffeine conspiracy. We'll start in the kitchen with the morning ritual for hundreds of millions of people. That first cup of coffee. It feels essential, non-negotiable. But for your prostate, it might be the first insult of the day. The issue isn't the coffee itself, but its active ingredient, caffeine. The primary mechanism here is simple. Caffeine is a potent diuretic. This means it signals your kidneys to pull more water from your blood, producing more urine, faster. If your plumbing is perfectly clear, this isn't a huge issue. But if you have an enlarged prostate, which is already squeezing your urethra, you've created a high-pressure situation. It's like trying to force the water from a fire hose through a garden hose. The pressure builds up behind the restriction, leading to that sudden, desperate urge to go. But it gets worse. Caffeine is also a direct bladder irritant. It can agitate the muscular wall of your bladder, known as the detrusor muscle, making it hyperactive and prone to spasms. This translates into more frequent urination and a feeling of urgency even when your bladder isn't full. So that large coffee isn't just filling your bladder faster, it's making the bladder itself angry and twitchy. You're fighting a war on two fronts. The solution isn't to live a life without your favorite brew, it's about strategy. Try limiting yourself to 1 cup of fully caffeinated coffee in the morning, switch to half calf or decaf for any subsequent cups, and pay attention. If you find your symptoms are dramatically worse an hour after your coffee, your body is sending you a clear signal. Habit number 9, the spice inferno. Staying in the kitchen, let's talk about turning up the heat. For many, a meal isn't complete without a kick from hot sauce, chili flakes, or spicy peppers. While it makes food exciting, it can be creating a 5-alarm fire in your pelvic region. The compound that gives peppers their heat, capsaicin, is a known irritant. That's its entire purpose. When you eat spicy food, capsaicin is absorbed into your bloodstream, filtered by your kidneys, and ends up concentrated in your urine. As this chemically charged urine sits in your bladder, it bathes the delicate lining of your urinary tract in this irritant. For a man with an already sensitive, inflamed prostate, this is like pouring rubbing alcohol on a burn. The result? Your body's defense mechanism kicks in, trying to flush out the irritant as quickly as possible. This leads to a sharp increase in urinary frequency and, for many men, a burning sensation during urination. You might eat a spicy dinner at 7 p.m. and find yourself unable to sleep, getting up every hour, blaming your prostate. But in reality, you just gave your bladder a chemical burn that it's desperately trying to soothe by flushing itself out. The key is to become a detective of your own body. If you have a flare-up of symptoms, think back to your last meal. Was it particularly spicy? If so, try dialing back the heat. You don't have to eliminate it, but finding a level of spice that excites your palate without inflaming your prostate is a crucial step towards daily comfort. Habit number 8, the nicotine toxin bath. All right, we've covered common irritants you put into your body, but this next one is in a league of its own. The habit of using nicotine, especially through smoking, is like forcing your prostate and bladder to take a daily bath in industrial toxins. First, nicotine itself is a powerful bladder irritant, even more so than caffeine. It causes severe, involuntary contractions of the bladder muscle, leading to that gotta go now feeling. But the real damage comes from the thousands of other chemicals in cigarette smoke. These carcinogens are absorbed into your blood and concentrated in your urine. Your bladder becomes a holding tank for a toxic chemical cocktail. This chronic chemical assault leads to inflammation and is a major risk factor for bladder cancer, whose early symptoms can mimic those of BPH. But the connection gets even more direct and sinister. Smoking disrupts your endocrine system. It's been shown to impact the delicate balance between testosterone and its more potent prostate-growing derivative, dihydrotestosterone, DHT. While the research is still evolving, the evidence strongly suggests that smoking can create a hormonal environment that favors prostate growth. So, with every cigarette, you are not only irritating your bladder in the short term, but you may be actively fueling the long-term growth of the prostate itself. If you're looking for a single reason to quit, let the health of your prostate be a powerful motivator. Okay, we've just covered 3 major irritants you might be putting into your body. These are about aggravation, but the next set of habits we're going to dive into are more insidious. They're about the silent damage caused by inaction and neglect. And since you've stuck with me this far, I can tell you're serious about your health. If you're finding this information valuable, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. It ensures you won't miss the rest of this countdown or our future deep dives into men's health. Also, I'm curious to know, which country are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. It's incredible to see our community is global. Now, let's get into habit number 7. Habit number 7, the Dr. Dodge. This habit isn't a substance you consume, it's a decision you make. It's the habit of ignoring the warning signs. It's hearing a rattling in your car's engine and just turning up the radio. The problem doesn't go away. It just gets louder and more expensive to fix. Dodging the doctor when you notice changes in your urinary habits is one of the riskiest gambles a man can take. The symptoms of BPH, frequent urination, weak stream, urgency, are your body's check engine light. They are a clear signal. While these symptoms are most often caused by a benignly enlarged prostate, they can also be red flags for other, more serious conditions. Prostatitis, an infection or inflammation of the prostate, can feel very similar, and in some cases these are the very first signs of prostate cancer. By avoiding a checkup, you're embracing a dangerous ignorance. You're allowing a manageable condition like BPH to potentially progress to the point of causing bladder damage, kidney issues, or acute urinary retention, a medical emergency where you suddenly can't urinate at all. Worse, you're giving a potentially serious disease a head start. When caught early, prostate cancer has one of the highest survival rates, but that requires a diagnosis. Facing the issue head-on with a simple checkup is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate act of taking control of your health and your future. Habit number 6, the red meat reaction. Let's head back to the dinner plate. The habit of building your diet around red and processed meats, the steak, the burger, the bacon, the sausage, can create a constant, low-grade inflammatory fire inside your body. Your prostate is exquisitely sensitive to this fire. Here's the science. Diets high in animal fats, particularly from red meat, have been linked to higher levels of inflammation throughout the body. When you grill or pan-fry meat at high temperatures, carcinogenic compounds can form. But there's another deeper mechanism at play: hormones. A diet high in red meat can increase levels of a hormone called insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1. IGF-1 is like a growth accelerator for cells. While essential for our bodies, elevated levels are linked to the proliferation of cells in the prostate. You are, in a sense, adding fuel to the fire of prostate growth. It's also about what you're not eating. A plate dominated by a large steak has no room for the foods that protect your prostate. You're missing out on the omega-3 fatty acids in fatty fish like salmon, which are powerfully anti-inflammatory. You're missing out on the lycopene in cooked tomatoes, a potent antioxidant that concentrates in the prostate. You're missing out on the sulforaphane in broccoli and the fiber in beans. The fix isn't about becoming a vegan. It's about changing the architecture of your plate. Think of meat as the side dish and a colorful array of vegetables as the main event. So far, we've covered how irritants and habits of neglect can worsen your symptoms. But we're now about to enter the big three. These are the habits that don't just aggravate your prostate, but can actively contribute to its enlargement and mess with your core masculine health. It starts with what's happening when you're not moving at all. Habit number 5, the bladder pressure cooker. This is a behavioral habit that seems harmless but does profound mechanical damage over time. It's the habit of consciously and repeatedly ignoring your body's signal to urinate. You're in a meeting, you're on the highway, you're watching a movie, and you decide to just hold it. Every time you do this, you are turning your bladder into a high-pressure cooker. Think about the physics. Your enlarged prostate is already creating an obstruction. When you force your bladder to hold urine beyond its comfortable capacity, you are stretching its muscular walls, making them thinner and weaker over time. A healthy bladder muscle contracts forcefully to push urine out. A weakened, overstretched bladder muscle can't generate the same power. This means when you finally do go, you can't push the urine out with enough force to overcome the resistance from your prostate. This leads directly to the most frustrating BPH symptom of all: incomplete emptying. You urinate, but a significant amount of residual urine is left behind. This leftover urine means your bladder fills up again much faster, sending you back to the bathroom sooner. It's a vicious cycle. Furthermore, this stagnant pool of urine is a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, dramatically increasing your risk for painful urinary tract infections. The takeaway is non-negotiable. When your body says it's time to go, listen, make it a priority. It's a simple, powerful way to protect your bladder from long-term damage. Habit number 4, the dehydration deception. This habit is born from a seemingly logical but deeply flawed idea. I have to pee all the time, so I should drink less water. This is the dehydration deception, a trap that countless men fall into, and it actively makes their situation worse. When you restrict your fluid intake, your body, in its wisdom, tries to conserve water. The result is that your urine becomes incredibly concentrated. It's dark, full of metabolic waste products, and highly acidic. This concentrated urine is a severe bladder irritant, on par with a shot of espresso or a spicy meal. It triggers the nerves in your bladder lining, creating a powerful spastic urge to urinate, even with a small amount of liquid. You may go to the bathroom less often, but the urgency and discomfort will be significantly higher. Smart hydration is the answer. It's not about drinking less, it's about drinking smarter. The goal is to keep your urine a pale, straw-like yellow throughout the day. Sip water consistently from morning until early evening. Then, about 2 to 3 hours before bed, stop all significant fluid intake. This strategy accomplishes 2 things. It keeps you hydrated and your urine diluted during your active hours, preventing irritation. And it gives your body time to process the last of the fluids before you lie down, drastically reducing the number of times you have to get up at night. Water is your ally in this fight, not your enemy. Habit number 3, the sedentary siege. Our entire modern life is a conspiracy to keep us seated. We are under a constant sedentary siege, and it's strangling the health of our pelvic region. This lack of movement is a primary driver of prostate problems. The key here is circulation and gravity. When you sit for hours on end, blood and lymphatic fluid can pool in your pelvis. Your circulatory system relies on movement, the contraction of your leg muscles, the shifting of your body, to effectively pump fluids back up to the heart. When you're static, this whole system becomes sluggish. The area around your prostate becomes a stagnant swamp instead of a flowing river. This poor circulation means less oxygen and fewer nutrients get to the tissue, and more inflammatory waste products are left behind. Moreover, the physical pressure of your body weight on the pelvic floor for hours at a time can exacerbate issues. It can lead to tension in the pelvic floor muscles, which, as we'll see in a moment, is a massive problem. Breaking the siege is simple, but requires conscious effort. Set a timer on your phone to stand, stretch, and walk for 2 minutes every half hour. Take the stairs, park farther away. A daily brisk walk isn't just good for your heart, it's a critical flushing mechanism for your prostate, Habit number 2, the belly fat factory. This is directly connected to our last few points on diet and exercise. The habit is allowing the accumulation of visceral belly fat. This is not about aesthetics. That hard fat packed around your internal organs is a metabolically active, hormone-disrupting factory, and its main products are inflammation and estrogen. This visceral fat is not dormant. It actively pumps out inflammatory molecules that create a state of chronic, body-wide inflammation, which the prostate is highly susceptible to. But the most damaging part is the enzyme it's packed with, aromatase. Aromatase has one job: to steal your testosterone and convert it into estrogen. The more belly fat you carry, the more efficient your body becomes at this conversion. This creates a disastrous hormonal shift for a man. Your testosterone levels drop, while your relative estrogen levels rise. This specific hormonal imbalance is one of the primary drivers of prostate cell multiplication, or BPH. It's a direct fuel source for prostate growth. So when you look at your midsection, don't just see fat. See a factory that is actively working against your masculine health, lowering your energy, reducing muscle mass, and fueling the growth of your prostate. Every pound of belly fat you lose by improving your diet and moving more is like decommissioning a piece of that factory's machinery. And now, for the number 1 habit. We've talked about what you eat, what you drink, and how you move. But none of it matters if you ignore the master control system for your entire body. Habit number 1, the stress spiral. The single most powerful and overlooked habit that enlarges your prostate and destroys your quality of life is allowing yourself to get caught in the stress spiral. Here is the deep physiological connection that most men completely miss. When you are under chronic stress, your body is marinating in cortisol and adrenaline. This fight-or-flight state causes your body to subconsciously tighten muscles as if preparing for a physical threat. For many men, this tension is held deep in the pelvic floor. Imagine making a fist. Now imagine holding that fist clenched for hours, days, or even weeks. That is what you are doing to the complex web of muscles that surround your prostate and bladder outlet. This chronic tension puts a physical chokehold on your urethra from the outside, compounding the squeezing that's already happening from the inside due to the enlarged prostate. This can dramatically worsen urinary symptoms, causing hesitancy, weak stream, and that feeling of incomplete emptying. But it doesn't stop there. Stress rewires your nervous system. It makes the nerves in your bladder hypersensitive, misinterpreting normal sensations of filling as emergency signals to urinate. This creates the devastating spiral. Your urinary symptoms cause you anxiety and stress. That stress tightens your pelvic floor and makes your nerves hyperactive, which makes your symptoms even worse. This, in turn, causes you more stress. You are trapped in a self-perpetuating cycle of misery. Breaking this spiral through stress management, deep breathing, mindfulness, meditation, a walk in nature, hobbies, is not a soft solution. It is a direct, powerful, physiological intervention. It is releasing the clenched fist around your plumbing and can lead to more profound and faster relief than you can possibly imagine. So there they are. 10 habits, from the food on your plate to the thoughts in your head, that have a direct line to the health of your prostate. The point of this is not to overwhelm you, but to empower you. Knowledge is power, and you are now armed with it. You do not have to be a passive victim of aging. Your journey to relief doesn't start with changing all 10 things at once. It starts with 1. Pick the one that resonated with you the most. Is it the dehydration deception? Start sipping water today. Is it the sedentary siege? Stand up and walk around the room right now. Take one small, defiant step towards taking back control. You are in the driver's seat. Thank you for investing this time in your health today. If this video gave you a new perspective or a piece of actionable advice, the best way to support us is to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It allows us to continue this mission of helping men everywhere live healthier, more vital lives. Stay strong, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.